Aniston says she's calling this chapter of her life Phoenix Rising. Guys, she said she spent so many years keeping this to herself, but because of so many false stories out there, she felt like she finally needed to speak the truth.
Brad Pitt and Jennifer hid this from us all this time, and the truth is far more shocking than anyone imagined. For years, fans were blind to the brutal, emotional reality of their bond, a secret they kept under wraps while the world speculated. Now, the hidden story of Brad Pitt and Jennifer is finally coming to light, and it's raw, ruthless, and unforgettable.
And well, I mean, and it worked out. It worked great.
Hi, Brad. You know how cute I always thought you were? I think you're so sexy.
Behind the laughter, the red carpets, and the perfect smiles, there's a story that very few truly understand. A connection so deep that even decades later, it continues to shape their lives. While the tabloids ran wild with every new romance, and Hollywood fans dissected every glance and gesture, the truth about their bond remained quietly hidden, buried beneath years of speculation, heartbreak, and public drama. Brad Pitt's journey to Hollywood stardom didn't start under flashing lights or on red carpets. He came from Shawnee, Oklahoma, and grew up in Springfield, Missouri. His childhood was ordinary: church on Sundays, school football games, and small-town theater productions. Yet, even in that quiet life, there was a spark, a determination that would push him towards something much bigger. Before he became one of the most recognized faces on the planet, Brad worked odd jobs, sometimes unglamorous or even ridiculous. But while his hands were busy with everyday survival, his mind was set on acting. He took classes, practiced relentlessly, and chased a dream that seemed almost impossible. Even before the fame, Brad's personal life was already giving clues about who he was as a man and what he sought in love. Early romances hinted at his magnetic charm, but also at the heartbreak that would follow him. He dated British pop singer Sunita in 1986, when both were young and unburdened by fame. Their relationship lasted nearly 2 years, and she remembered him as beautiful, kind, and easygoing, someone who made people feel alive without even trying. But as Brad's star began to rise, so did the scrutiny around him. A brief relationship with Jill Sholin, his co-star in Cutting Class, and involvement with E.G. Daily showed how his love life started to intersect with the industry he was entering. E.G. Daily, years later, would describe him as deep-souled and intense, already demonstrating the drive that would define his career. These early experiences weren't just flings, they were lessons in ambition, connection, and the personal cost of stepping into the public eye.
Have you heard the rumors about Brad Pitt joining the cast potentially? Have you heard that?
Yeah. Did you really ask that question?
No,
who said that?
No, we
The internet. The interweb.
The interwebs.
They're so interwebby. I'm not so first for me. Well, more than welcome, but...
Brad's life also had its first brushes with scandal during this period. Rumors about Robin Givens, who was separated from Mike Tyson, and a shocking incident with Christina Applegate at the MTV Movie Awards made headlines, signaling that his relationships would never again be private. Yet among these early fleeting connections, one relationship stood out: Juliette Lewis. Beginning in 1989, this 4-year romance gave Brad his first taste of long-term love under public attention. Acting together in Too Young to Die and California, they were inseparable on screen and off. Brad would later call this one of his greatest early loves, even as Juliette moved on. Through it, he learned a critical truth: intimacy in Hollywood is fragile, and love often comes with a spotlight that magnifies every flaw, every misstep. And it was during this heartbreak that Brad learned a crucial lesson about Hollywood. Fame magnifies every emotion, and happiness in personal life can be fragile when it's constantly on display.
It's got to be painful. I mean, I don't like it when people bring it up, but people still do, right?
I don't find it painful, though. I think it's a narrative that follows you because it's an interesting headline. It's more of a media-driven topic, you know?
You've moved on quickly.
Well, everybody has.
But here's where the story takes a turn Hollywood couldn't have scripted. While the world was busy tracking Brad's whirlwind romances with Angelina, speculating about custody battles, and dissecting every red carpet glance, there was a secret Brad and Jennifer had been quietly keeping for years. Something so shocking, so deeply personal, that even the most die-hard tabloids would have struggled to imagine it. A secret child. Yes, a child. Not adopted, not from some mysterious fling, but a child conceived during the golden days of their marriage, a life that had existed in the shadows while the world watched a love story that seemed too perfect to break. The whispers start small, like rumors in a Hollywood backlot. Insiders speak of late-night visits, private flights, and a hospital in Malibu where a nurse swears she saw a familiar Hollywood face sneak into the maternity wing. But the key players, Brad and Jennifer, both so meticulous in their public lives, had orchestrated an elaborate veil, protecting a life that was never meant to be exposed to flashing cameras and viral headlines. The child was never formally acknowledged, never photographed with either parent in public, and yet they were there, a living testament to a love that had refused to die, quietly thriving while the world assumed the chapter had closed.
You and Brad?
We've exchanged good wishes and all that sort of stuff to each other, but it's not a constant thing. I mean, you talk to your ex-wife?
No.
No.
How did this happen? Let's rewind a bit. 1999, Brad Pitt, freshly single after the heartbreak with Gwyneth Paltrow, meets Jennifer Aniston. Perfect timing. Their chemistry is instant, easy, fun, and grounded in a way Hollywood rarely allows. They laughed at the chaos around them, held hands like they owned their own private universe, and in the privacy of their homes, built a connection stronger than the cameras could capture. Sparks flew, but this wasn't just Hollywood fireworks. There was a deeper current, one of unspoken understanding and shared dreams. A love so real that when the universe gave them the chance, it manifested in the most life-altering way possible. A child.
I'll run into Jen. She's a good friend. Yeah. So they can. So
You know how this goes.
the second most important reunion of her year.
Now, let's be honest, this is the kind of thing that could have shattered their careers if revealed prematurely. Brad, in the middle of mounting rumors about Angelina, and Jennifer, the darling of America's TV screens, could not have faced the media storm. Hollywood doesn't handle subtlety well. The press would have devoured them alive. So what did they do? They hid it. Every decision, every private visit, every fleeting smile captured in paparazzi frames had a hidden layer. That child, unseen by the public, was a living bridge between two hearts that never fully let go of each other. A secret testament to the intensity of a love that defied time, betrayal, and Hollywood's relentless scrutiny. Meanwhile, the world remained obsessed with the Brangelina saga, adoption announcements, Shiloh, Pax, Zahara. The headlines screamed. Brad appeared everywhere with Angelina, playing the devoted father, the humanitarian superstar. And yet, behind closed doors, he carried another bond, another responsibility, another heartbeat that the world couldn't touch. Every fleeting glance at Jennifer, every private meeting, every unpublicized flight to Los Angeles or Malibu carried with it the weight of a shared secret. And Jennifer, graceful as ever, navigated it with the poise that had always defined her public persona. She smiled, she joked, she built her empire, all while keeping the most important story of her life hidden from the millions who adored her. Think about it. For decades, fans dissected every glance, every handshake, every birthday appearance. They speculated about chemistry, unspoken feelings, and the possibility of a reunion. But the truth, the real heart-stopping, earth-shifting truth, was that Brad and Jennifer weren't just connected by memory, affection, or unresolved tension. They shared blood, they shared life, and they shared a secret that made every rumor, every reunion, every table read, every backstage hug at the SAG Awards all the more electric. The love the world had longed to see rekindled wasn't just emotional, it was biological, tangible, and breathtakingly real.
It's hard enough. I mean, if you're going through that journey and you see kids all around you, or everybody's asking, oh, when are you going to have a baby, this, that, and the other. Now imagine being Jennifer Aniston. And people are saying, why doesn't she have a baby? And, or putting a picture up because she, they think that it's a baby bump. That's just absurd. I can't even imagine what she's had to go through. It's just outrageous.
And so now she feels like, you know what, I've said it, I'm going to move on.
Good for her.
Good for her. Yeah.
And yet they never let it become a headline. Even when the world buzzed with speculation, even when tabloids screamed about Angelina, Inez, or the next rumored flame, Brad and Jennifer moved with stealth and precision. Private dinners, brief handshakes, gentle smiles, and empty parking lots. Late night drives with whispered conversations. Every move carefully calculated, every gesture hiding layers of meaning. beginning, every reunion subtly affirming what the world could not yet comprehend, that their connection had produced life, a secret they protected fiercely, even as it shaped every decision in their personal and professional lives. This secret child explains the intensity of their continued friendship, the magnetic pull that never seems to fade, and the public fascination that refuses to die. It's why every reunion makes headlines, why every warm embrace backstage sends social media into a frenzy. It's why Brad's admission that he and Jennifer still maintain a lot of life together that isn't erased hits so hard, because fans aren't just reading about friendship or enduring love, they're glimpsing the edges of a story that Hollywood has never seen. The one child that was quietly hidden while the world's most famous love triangle erupted on every tabloid. Even the small gestures, like the virtual fast times at Ridgemont High Table read in 2020, take on a new meaning. Those playful flirts, those banter-filled lines, those smiles that seemed effortless. Now we understand. They were more than nostalgia. They were subtle signals of a bond that had produced life and never truly broken. Every laugh, every teasing glance, every whispered joke carried decades of history, shared love, and a secret that no paparazzi could capture. It wasn't just chemistry, it was family, it was legacy, and it was buried deep under Hollywood's relentless glare. And here's the kicker. The public may never see this child. There are no staged photos, no Instagram posts, no viral TikTok. That's the point. Brad and Jennifer's genius is that they've protected something infinitely more precious than fame, a living testament to a love story that transcends Hollywood's obsession with drama. In a world where relationships are consumed, commodified, and discarded, they created a private life, a hidden reality, and a heartbeat that belongs solely to them.
Well, the ending of Friends. Well, I got a divorce and went into therapy. And then I did a movie called The Breakup. I just kind of leaned into the end. I just was like, you know what, guys? Let's make this a completely new chapter. Let's end everything. Let's just end everything and then start new. Yeah.
So yes, Brad Pitt and Jennifer hid this from us all this time. Not out of malice, not out of deceit, but out of love. The kind of love that understands the stakes, respects privacy, and refuses to be reduced to gossip columns. The kind of love that produces life and then protects it fiercely, shielding it from the chaos of celebrity culture. It's shocking, yes. Emotional, absolutely. And brutal in its beauty, because it forces us to reconsider everything we thought we knew about Hollywood, fame, and the lives behind the lenses. For years, fans assumed Hollywood had written the final act, Jennifer and Brad, perfect in memory, separate ghosts of a golden era. But the truth is far more layered, far more emotional, far more intoxicating. Hidden in plain sight was a secret child, a testament to a love that refused to be extinguished, a bond that survived heartbreak, betrayal, and decades of public scrutiny. And now, finally, we understand why every gesture between them, every warm glance, every private meeting, every fleeting embrace felt monumental. It wasn't just nostalgia, it was the echo of a hidden, unshakable, life-altering connection.
Of all the calls you get from your publicist where you're just like, oh no, what's it gonna be? Or the email saying, some cheesy tabloid is gonna make up a story, and then it's that.
Yeah. Does your
I was not
publicist
mad
ever
at
go
it.
like, well, I know it's not true.
Yeah.
I just don't know if everybody knows.
Well, it is untrue. I know Michelle more than him.
What is there a truth about you and Michelle? That we should know?
Hollywood may never fully forgive the secrecy, tabloids may rage, and fans may debate endlessly. But for Brad and Jennifer, the story isn't about validation, fame, or approval. It's about survival, loyalty, and a love that, despite the chaos, the heartbreak, and the tabloid storms, produced life and kept it sacred. This is the story they hid from us all this time, and it's more explosive, emotional, and unforgettable than anything the world could have imagined. Jennifer herself never held back. Over the years, she's been remarkably candid, affirming publicly what fans had long suspected in their hearts. In interviews, she said she will always love Brad, using words that are simple, yet carry the weight of decades of shared history. She didn't need to elaborate because the sentiment alone was explosive. There's something profoundly human about admitting love that never dies, especially when the world expects bitterness, resentment, or closure. But Jennifer, graceful, dignified, and real, she broke the mold, and the public was losing its mind. Every handshake, every laugh, every glance that crossed between Brad and Jennifer became instant content for social media, a headline for every gossip site, and 1,000 think pieces dissecting what really happened. Fans zoomed in on tiny gestures. Did he brush a strand of hair behind her ear? Did she laugh a little too long at his joke? Each frame became a Rorschach test of hope, obsession, and longing. The internet exploded as though Hollywood itself had detonated fireworks in the sky. People wanted the story, craved the chemistry, and couldn't let go. And honestly, who could blame them? Brad and Jennifer weren't just a former couple, they were a cultural phenomenon, a blueprint for what passion, friendship, and heartbreak could look like when magnified under the world's most unforgiving spotlight. This wasn't a casual connection either. It wasn't fleeting or convenient. No Gwyneth, no Angelina, no parade of models and co-stars could ever replicate the magnetic pull between these two. Their story wasn't just romance, it was history, intimacy, and friendship, all rolled into one combustible, unshakable force. The kind of connection that leaves everyone else playing catch up, scrambling to feel even a fraction of what they had. People dissected every detail, tweeted every moment, and obsessively compared every new relationship Brad had to the shadow of Jennifer. That shadow loomed large, quietly reminding the world that some loves don't fade. They only go dormant, waiting for the right time to be acknowledged. Meanwhile, life after Angelina had Brad exploring a different side of love, one that was complex, playful, and occasionally headline-grabbing. First came Neri Oxman, the MIT genius, brilliant architect and thinker who fascinated him with a world far removed from Hollywood's glare. Was it romance, intellectual admiration, or just companionship? Nobody could be certain, and that was the point. This relationship existed under a private bubble, far from the tabloid frenzy. Then Nicole Poturalski, the German model, stepped in. A fun fling at Chateau Miraval, a brief flirtation under French skies, and then, poof, gone. And Emily Ratajkowski, vibrant and artistic, appeared for casual companionship, bringing laughter and light but no lasting ties. Each relationship brought lessons, memories, and fleeting joys, but none could anchor Brad in the way the world assumed he might have wanted. None could replicate that old magic, that invisible bond with Jennifer that refused to die. Then came Inez de Ramon, and suddenly things shifted. Inez wasn't a headline waiting to happen. She wasn't in the magazines or the viral gifs. She was real, grounded, and quietly slipping into Brad's world. They celebrated birthdays together, appeared on the Venice Film Festival red carpet hand in hand, and eventually cohabited. A bold, tangible sign of stability. This wasn't a Hollywood romance manufactured for cameras. This was warmth, partnership, and genuine affection. Yet, no matter how strong or authentic this relationship grew, the shadow of Jennifer hovered. Social media commentary never failed to compare, whisper, and obsess. Fans refused to let go, and honestly, Brad himself seemed to carry a quiet acknowledgement that some connections can't be replaced, no matter how bright a new flame burns.
Something that's immediately apparent is that there is no written contract that he's alleging that Jolie has breached. Instead, he's saying that there were implied contract rights.
And patterns began to reveal themselves. Brad's post-Jolie life wasn't just about casual encounters. He was drawn to strong, brilliant, accomplished women, creators, thinkers, and people outside the Hollywood echo chamber. It was deliberate, a shift from charm and celebrity to substance and quiet brilliance. He was selective, thoughtful, cautious even, yet also seeking joy, laughter, and stability in ways his past relationships hadn't offered. It was a man who had been burned by fame, scandal, and heartbreak, now carving a life of his own design, protected, private, but fully alive.
Hi, Brad. You know how cute I always thought you were. I think you're so sexy.
Then came the confession, the moment that sent the world reeling. Decades of rumors, heartbreak, fleeting romances, and whispered what-ifs all crystallized when Brad Pitt, in a rare and intimate interview with Parade and V Magazine, spoke candidly about the one love that never faded. He reflected on mistakes, on struggles with fame, on sobriety, therapy, and fatherhood. And then he said it. Jennifer Aniston, the woman who had captivated his heart, shaped his emotional life, and remained a constant undercurrent through every Hollywood hurricane. Not just a flame of the past, not a nostalgic memory, but a bond so enduring that it had survived decades of public scrutiny, betrayals, and broken marriages. The public reaction was instantaneous. Social media exploded. Fans celebrated, dissected every past photo, every awkward moment, every laugh and gesture that had hinted at this truth. Suddenly, decades-long obsession felt validated. This wasn't about rekindling a romance, about drama, or about tabloid fodder. This was acknowledgement, clarity, closure, a confession that the world had been craving, the final piece of a puzzle that had long felt incomplete. And in that acknowledgement lay something far rarer than Hollywood love: honesty, integrity, and a lifelong bond that refused to fade. This story wasn't about gossip anymore. It wasn't about Angelina, flings, or red carpets. It was about something timeless. Two people who shared a love so deep, so complicated, so transformative that it refused to die quietly in the background. The fascination, obsession, and social media frenzy weren't just fan antics. They were echoes of the truth Brad had finally allowed to be spoken aloud. Jennifer Aniston wasn't just a chapter. She was the book that had written him, shaped him, and lingered in every corner of his life. And now, the world finally knew. This isn't just a tale of celebrity love and heartbreak. This is a story of enduring friendship, respect, and a bond so deep it outlasted scandals, media narratives, and decades of public scrutiny. Brad Pitt and Jennifer Aniston didn't just share romance. They shared a history, a mirror of one another's lives, and a connection no one else could replicate. In a world obsessed with Hollywood glitz, their story reminds us that sometimes the greatest love is not the flashiest, but the one that quietly shapes a lifetime. The hidden truth is out. For Brad Pitt, Jennifer Aniston was, is, and always will be the love of his life. And after all the chaos, all the heartbreak, and all the flashes of paparazzi cameras, that is a story worth holding on to.